What's up? So today I want to talk about Old Main Utica State Hospital because I hate psychiatrists. I think they're the dumbest of the dumbest people on the planet. I think they're the most evil people. I think nurse practitioners and psychiatrists are completely useless. They're evil. I think therapists completely replace them entirely. There's no use for a psychiatrist at all. For any kids listening in, a therapist doesn't give you drugs. Drugs are something like, let's say, a Xanax bar, which is highly addictive and sold on the streets at the corners by the gangsters. Um, it's that addictive. It's that powerful of a drug. It's like crack cocaine. It's like meth. It's like heroin. And it's being prescribed to every single person in town practically. Anybody could get a prescription. Anybody. Literally anybody. All you gotta do is act like you need it. You act like my mother and say, "Oh, I'm fainting. I'm getting too nervous. I need to calm down or I'm gonna get into an accident and kill everyone." Then they'll be like, "Oh, we're scared of you. Here's some drugs." And that's basically all that's going on in psych wards. Is you're scared of somebody, so you drug them up. Instead of sitting them down, talking to them, trying to figure out why they're acting the way they are, trying to figure out why you're afraid of them, try to see it from both angles. Instead of trying to figure out if there's another way of handling it, another way to help them, instead of even questioning whether or not they have a concussion, a lot of times patients just might have concussions, or they might be just straight up dumb and their parents never taught them right from wrong, and maybe even they didn't get good education because the little hoodlums in class didn't want to stop talking to each other while everybody else is trying to learn. Whatever it may be, um, they don't question it. They just automatically assume you're insane. You're in need of hardcore medication and lock up. You need to be locked up like a Jew in a concentration camp, like a Palestinian in a concentration camp, actually. A Palestinian in a German concentration camp. That's basically how they want to treat us all. If you're American, it doesn't matter if you think it's funny or not. It doesn't matter if you're with it. It doesn't matter how brainwashed you are. It doesn't matter how good you think the drugs are. This is how they want you to live. Drugged up in a hospital. On drugs that you don't enjoy. So if you like Xan bars, the only reason they don't lock you back up and get you on different medicine is because they can't. Because guys like me will grab rifles from someone and go ballistic on them. Unless they have a good excuse, like she did this or she said that or blah, blah, blah. If she's just sitting there on the couch all day watching soap operas, eating Snickers, and popping Xannies, and they want to throw her in a psych ward and get her on some new medicine that's going to make her tweak out all day long and cry hysterically to sleep every night, I'd be very concerned. I'd be very upset. I'd want to fight back. If it's one of my people, family, friend, whatever, somebody close enough that I care about, I'd be very upset about it, especially if I've gone through the same scenario. I know how it feels type of thing. It's horrible. It's hellish. It's like stubbing your toe. You see somebody do it, and now you laugh at them because you know how it feels. Before, maybe you didn't know. That might be better for a kid's perspective. A better example would be maybe a better example. I forget what I was talking about. Basically, the psych wards are killing everybody. And I want to talk about this one specifically. Old Main Utica State Hospital. Now, everybody who talks about this hospital says it was the most horrible place around. They had people in baby carriages locked up, literally locked up like dogs in baby carriages. They had people getting their brains cut open. They had people on hardcore drugs that made them act like they're on meth. You see these people at the corner begging for money? Not all of them are meth junkies. Not all of them are on meth. Not all of them are smoking crack. Some of them are on just straight up big pharma medication. They're on hospital medicine. They're on the doctor's medicine. The doctor's medicine, is, depending on what he prescribes you with, can be very, very deadly. Regardless if he does it on purpose or if it's an accident, it's wrong. This hospital specifically, you get that airy, horrible vibe about it. And this one over here, too, because this one doesn't even have a name, and they don't talk about it. I've only saw one article online about it after researching it for, looking it up, searching for it for about several different days for maybe about 10 minutes each. Just, different days, like just randomly out of the blue, I'm like, I wonder what this building is called. I still don't know. I want to figure it out. And eventually I figured it out, and then I forgot, and I never saved the page, so I'll probably never figure it out again. Because now that I figured it out, I'm like, well, I got some bit of information out of it. This one was also a mental hospital, and this one, it's very unknown. They don't talk much about it at all. There were tunnels connecting this one to this giant one over here. Now, this giant one, you see this big empty field right here behind it. This actually used to be all one hospital. There's actually photos. It's kind of hard to find. But after a while of searching, you can find the old main Utica State Hospital was fucking ginormous. It was so big. It was big enough to drive your car inside of like a speed track, like a speed rig, like a speedway, like you're racing cars, 100 miles per hour around in circles. Like that's how big it was. You could have made like let's say a casino out of it. Like let's say Turn and Stone Casino. It was maybe even bigger than Turn and Stone Casino, especially when you consider the fact that there was tunnels connecting it to this hospital over here. And that makes you wonder, why is this hospital so hidden? Why don't they talk about it? And it makes you wonder, are these tunnels still in operation? And what's down in these tunnels? What do they have down in these tunnels? What are they doing to their innocent patients down in these tunnels? It really makes you wonder and makes you concerned for innocent fucking people's lives. Innocent people who never did anything wrong. Never did a single action wrong. Not one action. No picking up a knife and jabbing it into somebody. No shooting anybody. No throwing Molotov cocktails through their windows. Nothing. But saying a couple words that somebody was afraid of. That's cowardly. That's like if somebody challenges a mob boss to a fight. They're like, hey, pussy, let's go right now. And then the mob boss calls up 30 friends. He says, hold on. Stand right there for half an hour. I mean, this wouldn't happen. I'm just being funny. I'm being sarcastically funny. Or not, I mean, not sarcastic. I'm just being funny, but he says, sit there for half an hour. He calls up 30 guys, and then 30 guys show up with Tommy guns. And then he's like, oh, you still want to fist fight me? And the guy's like, yeah, let's fist fight. And then he's just like, all right, get him, boys. And then they just start shooting him with the Tommy guns. That's cowardly. That's what they're doing to patients. That's what they're doing to innocent patients who just said a couple mean words, just said a couple scary words. Oh, boo fucking who? The sinner who left her sick husband with cancer got threatened by her son after he was threatened by her his whole childhood. Now, throwing him in a psych ward just because he got caught is not fair. We may as well throw the whole fucking family in. Do it North Korean style. 3 generations of the family. Or just shut the fuck up, stop being a little soy boy bitch, and give teachers guns. Do that instead, you little pussy. It really makes you think they're hiding so many secrets. Like, what's in these tunnels? For all we know, Hitler could be down there. Literally Hitler himself, for all we know. I mean, literally. He could be, 100-something years old, still alive down there. The oldest Native American was 134, so it's possible for a man to be that old. And when you look around here, all these abandoned buildings, all these black guys on drugs, and they really hate black people, all these innocent people being robbed and shot at and killed randomly. Every cop is Blue Eye. The government is Blue Eye. They exterminated all the Native Americans. When you really do the puzzle piecing and really dig deep, you really start to dig and you really start to paint this perfect picture. I mean, for all we know, really, Hitler could be underneath this hospital right now, freaking out because he's like, how did a Utica find out? Or whatever the fuck his accent is. Getting all upset that I'm onto them now. They're putting fluoride in our water. They're spraying chemtrails over all of us. They're poisoning our food. They're poisoning our air here with asbestos 24/7. And these Blue Eye laugh in our face about it. They're like, yeah, you removed the asbestos, huh? They don't give a shit. They think it's funny. You're dying of cancer. They think it's funny. Ha ha. They say. They want you to be a little bitch and cry about it and kill yourself, too. The last thing they want you to do is try to better yourself any way, shape, or form. That's the last fucking thing they want. Because now you're just another old man who knows way, way too many details about them. Way too much of a detailed description about them. You know way more than I do. You know way more. And when you take your ideas and you bring them in with a new age idea, you see it from a new age, a new person's perspective. You see, oh, this shit's still happening around here. This wasn't just my generation. They're doing it to my kids' generation too. They're doing it to us all. These blue-eyed Nazis want to lock us all up in fucking literal psych ward concentration camps. That's what they are. Literal psych ward concentration camps. And when you look at this building here, and when you see the photo of it, they took a photo from right here. It was kind of like a drone shot image. They didn't have drones back then, but it was a high up image. I don't know how they got it so high. Maybe they climbed a tree or some shit. And you can see above, over this. You could see this whole empty lot behind the old Utica Main hospital. The whole empty lot was all one big giant hospital, and it even went beyond that, almost all the way to the next hospital, all the way over here. And I read somewhere they had the tunnel, this hospital, because this one over here was new. The smaller one, this was actually smaller at the time. Now it's actually bigger, or it might be the same size. I'm not sure. And it makes you think, if these scumbag drug addict losers, and I say drug addicts because, you know, back then all of them were on their meth. All these Nazis. You look at Hitler, you look at all of them. They were all on their meth. If they couldn't keep this part of the hospital, they accidentally set it on fire somehow. They probably put out a cigarette in a garbage can or something, accidentally set it on fire while all the patients were still in it trying to live. Hid the story of it, covered it up, didn't want to tell anybody because it was so traumatizing, it was so horrible. They didn't want people revolting. They didn't want people waking up and freaking out about it. That they exterminated all of their patients in a hospital by accident because some drug addict loser accidentally put out their cigarette in the wrong receptacle. Anyways, it makes you think, if they lost this side of the hospital, it makes you think, was this actually the front of the hospital over here? Is Old Main Utica State Hospital, is this actually the front? Or could this be even the center? And there's even more wings over here in front of it. It really makes you think. Because look at this big empty space over here. Now, sure, back in the day in the 1800s, they loved to have their big courtyards. You know, everything had to look fancy. And, you know, if you have a giant hospital, you may as well put it in, like, on like a reservation almost. Like it almost is like an Indian reservation. It's almost like a ranch or something like that. It's like this is a giant courtyard. So I don't know if I believe that or not. Could have there been more hospital in front of this hospital? Did the Old Main Utica State Hospital have even more wings attached to it in front of it? In front of its main entrance? I mean, that would have been like a giant maze. Like, this thing would have been a giant maze big enough to hold every single Utican in town. Big enough to literally lock up every single Utican in a psych ward. Take their gun rights away from them for the rest of their lives. That's how big this hospital was. And I wonder, how big were the tunnels, and how big was the basement, and is the basement still there? After the fire, could have they kept the basement and just covered over it? It's very likely. It's very, very, very likely. Now, they claim William Spire, if you look that name up, William Spire, spy as in S-P-I-E-R. William Spire is the guy who burned down the hospital. I guess he was a patient that they released. But if you do the research, they never released any patients at all. If you got sent to the psych ward, you were there forever. They would cut out your prefrontal cortex and you would never come home. And even if they did send those guys home, which they never did, they wouldn't have been able to start a fire because their prefrontal cortex was gone. They were not able to make decisions like that no more. Because your prefrontal cortex is what allows you to make decisions. It allows you to say no to an adult or say yes. And that's why you're not supposed to be engaging in adult activities until you are an adult, when your brain is fully developed. But they don't care about any of that. They'll label a kid as crazy. They'll lock him up forever. They'll throw away his rights. They'll kill him for saying a couple mean things. If he says he wants to kill someone or himself. Just for wanting to do it and saying it out loud and being a nuisance with it in front of a cop. That's all it takes. Be a nuisance talking about homicide or suicide in front of a cop and you will get sent there immediately. That's all it takes. They will take your rights away. If you try to refuse going with them, they will force you to go. They will stun you in the heart. They will baton you. They will shoot you. They will literally drag you away while you're all limp. They will force you into the hospital after hitting you over the head so hard, you won't remember anything. You will have severe concussion. Then the psychiatrists will get to you and label you as crazy. They will misdiagnose you with a disorder that you don't have. After they've given you a concussion, after the cop gave you a concussion because you didn't want to go with him, because you said one suicidal or homicidal thing. It doesn't matter if you were just acting. It doesn't matter if it was a social experiment. It doesn't matter. Your life is ruined forever. Your gun rights are taken away. You can maybe fight it in court, but you'll have to get re-diagnosed all over again by a psychiatrist. And 9 times out of 10, the psychiatrists are only there to poison their patients. They literally sign contracts from Big Pharma to do so. Just like any other doctor has to sign many, many, many contracts with Big Pharma that state that they will sell their Big Pharma drugs. They will never say the drugs are toxic. They'll never talk bad about the side effects. Ever. That's one of the main things. You cannot talk bad about side effects at all. At all. Or they will smash your head into a brick wall in the concentration camp after the police send you there. And I mean a real concentration camp. They're hiding from us underground. They're all in tunnels. They're all underground in bunkers. Real concentration camps. They really have them out there. And it really makes you wonder, where can they be? Oh, man, it really makes you want to fucking find them, especially if you're a New Yorker, if you have the authority, if you care enough. Let's say a cop, for an example. You might have enough authority to do something like that. If you find even one bunker with Nazis in it, you could fucking take that whole fucking thing down. You could take their whole operation down. And that's what needs to be done all around our country. These goddamn worthless scumbag Nazis need to be taken down. They're worthless, evil blue eye. They're no good Nazis. I don't care what color their eyes are. They could drug a guy like Hitler and say he's one of them. I don't care. Who's doing what? They're all evil. If you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi. You could be one of their slaves getting beaten. You're a coward. You need to fight harder until they kill you. Because you're better off dead than being one of them. You're so better off dead than being one of them. Any day of the week. Now I'm going to try to think, what else do I want to say about this hospital before I end the video? These hospitals, we have too many of them in this city. Whether they are destroyed or whether they are still up in operation or whether they are brand new, we have too many of them standing. We have far too many of them standing. I'm glad. If William Spire is a real person, I'm very glad he did what he did. I believe he's a good man. I believe, even if he killed innocent people, I believe he's a good man. I think he did a good deed. I think he put them out of their misery. I feel so sorry for him that he had to go through with that horrible act. I wish he didn't have to do that. I wish a ghost could have did it for him instead. But it had to be done, I think. That's my opinion. It had to be done. Because a long-term patient hospital like that needs to be set on fire, I believe, in my personal opinion. Because they are slaves. They're in concentration camps. Right now, right here, what is this? It says it's a Utica print shop now. I don't believe that at all. How is this a Utica print shop? Right here it says it's the Mohawk Valley Psychiatric Center. This building right here, the Mohawk Valley Psychiatric Center, is another one. I believe it should be burned down to the ground. I honestly believe that. That's my honest opinion. I I honestly think the people inside that place would be put out of their misery if it happened. I think they wouldn't even be that upset. I honestly think if I was in one of them hospitals and it happened to me and I became a ghost, I wouldn't haunt you. I would follow you and I would have your back 100% of the way, and I would be crying 24/7 thinking how great of a person you are, that you fucking put me out of my misery. You helped me out so much. That's what I'd be thinking about you. That's what I'd be thinking about you. I'd be thinking, you are an angel. You are my guardian angel. Now I'm going to return the favor and follow you everywhere you go. That's what I'd be thinking. Places like these are literal concentration camps. They are literally holding patients way far longer than they should be. For stupid little shit like they said something they shouldn't have said. Without ever questioning where they learned these behaviors. Without ever wondering about it, thinking, oh, his grandfather was a paratrooper, and he taught that behavior to his son, and his son taught that behavior to him, and now, after multiple concussions and a little brain injury, he's here. Should we drug him unmercifully forever? No. Let him out immediately. But that's not what they do. They'll prescribe you with Abilify, and they will kill you. They will literally kill you with Abilify, with their toxic Nazi medication. All big pharma medication is toxic Nazi medication. All blue eye in this country are evil. All of them. That's why they all go along with this bullshit. The only ones that don't are dead already. Or they're actively being tied down and kidnapped as we speak. And that could explain why some of my old blue eye friends are just missing from society. It almost seems like you never see them anywhere. I mean, that sounds far-fetched, but I mean, it's not that crazy when you really dig and do the research around here, how evil all these people really are, how disgustingly evil they really are. Putting this fluoride in our tap water, letting our economy be shit, letting our homes look the way they are. It's their fault. Our homes are looking like that. You'll say, "Oh, those people are trash. They're just scumbags." No, it's the government. It's the blue-eyed big pharma fucking scumbag Nazi-loving government who sent all the troops on what was it? Not D-Day. I think it was after D-Day. They sent all the troops on the beaches of Normandy. It was a literal booby trap. They tried to say, oh, we're going to go after the biggest defenses, so we're going to go after the biggest whatever because we have to, blah, blah, blah. They literally could have went around. Sure, the anti-air defense system was up. They could have went around the beaches, though. There was other places they could have started at. The beaches that were heavily fortified, they probably saw with binoculars before even loading their troops up on them, and were like, "Yeah, we're done." And for some reason, they thought it was still a good idea to go, and it still didn't stop us. We still whooped their fucking asses. We still destroyed them. The blue eye still got fucking whipped like the little slaves that they should be. The little slaves they want to be. You look at any of them. Sadie Davis, for an example. She asked me to choke her. I wouldn't do it. Because I'm not a scumbag Nazi. She literally asked me to choke her. Her father literally has Nazi memorabilia. They're literally Nazis. Their whole family's in the U.S. government. They all work for the military. They all have blue eye. They're all Nazis. They're all German. Every single hacker in America, practically, is a German Nazi. Every single one of them, practically. They all have the intel. They're all spies. They all work together. They all knew the beaches of Normandy were a fucking death trap. But did that stop my grandfather? No, it didn't stop him, did it? You fucking little punk-ass bitch little Nazis have shit aim. You can't fucking shoot a fucking rifle for shit. God wanted you to die. That's probably why he guided the bullets at your head. That's why your scumbag family all looks like a bunch of little bitches. That's why Blue Eye are all so weak and docile and frail. That's why their hair is weaker. That's why their skin is softer. That's why they're so much weaker. And they're going to sit there and tell me I need to be docile and dumbed down to no end in a psych ward. Why? Because I thought my mom was an alien when I was on LSD. They got the Indian doctors agreeing with it. People who can't even pronounce our words properly because they're not even from around here. They're taking all of our jobs away from us. They're our enemy. They're working with BRICS. They're in BRICS, and we're about to get a nuclear war with them. And they're taking all of our jobs. They come here, take all of our jobs. And we could blame the British for starting it all, getting these people to be so evil in the first place after going after Gandhi. Those were the Nazis, the Blue Eye. And they all want me to be in a psych ward on psych ward medication. So I could finally be tortured to death, as they think I deserve. Because I was tripping on LSD and I had learned behavior from my mother and father. They used to threaten to murder me all the time. I had learned behavior. I did it to her, thinking she was an alien because she would watch TV too much and didn't love me enough, never talked to me enough. She always acted like she was getting abused by her downstairs neighbor, the blue-eyed Jew, Bobby. She always would act like that. She always was scared, sad. She always was really slow-paced, like she was on Xanax bars. I thought it was just the drugs. But who knows? Who knows? And it makes you wonder, why do Muslims, after Palestine got attacked, why did Muslims start making their women all wear burqas? It was right after Palestine got attacked by the Nazis. There's actually still photographic evidence all over the place. It's all over the place. If you find it, you should save it immediately. Because the Nazis want to delete it all. Photographic evidence of Palestine before the Nazis attacked, and none of their women wore burqas at all. None of them. You have to wear dresses around them because they're rapists. It's very common, though, with certain individuals. It has something to do with their DNA, I think. Something to do with the way that the women treat them and the way homophobes treat them, I think, also plays a role. All of it, really. The way anybody treats them, I think. But I think mainly homophobes. If we were to just go easy on them, little guys, and stop being homophobic, I think they'd stop wanting to kill us all. I think just that enough. I think that just that alone would be enough. Because now they have other options. They don't have to be tiny little alphas. They could be tiny little betas. instead. And they could still live just as good of lives. They could have just as big of families. They could even have more than that. They could have a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Their boyfriend could pleasure their girlfriend for them. It's not as evil as it sounds. It's actually less evil than what's going to happen if we don't let them do it. You don't let them do it, well, they come and they kill us all. Because the way that they work is just like any man. We don't want to be alone forever. We get more and more mad. We start accusing people around us. We're like, you're aliens, you're this or that. We start trying to cope with our feelings by doing drugs. We'll get on LSD. Then we really start believing in that shit. We're like, these people are aliens. Then we're going after them full-heartedly. We're like, all Palestinians must be sent to death camps. This is the thought process of a blue eye. This is why they do it. They're like, well, they'll say, well, if my dick's too small to pleasure their brunette woman, and I can't pleasure even my own woman, we may as well start killing them all and enslaving everybody and raping their women just to get by. And that's what they do. These little tiny blue eye. That's why I think honestly gay is very much so a hippie movement. And people don't even realize it. It's not a pedophilic movement. It's not this movement or that movement. It's not commie. I really think it is a hippie movement where it's this new hip idea where they're trying to get people to be peaceful and stop murdering each other. Tell them, hey, your dick size is fine the way it is. It doesn't matter if it's only 3 inches or smaller. You can still be happy and live a good life and have tons of sex. You don't have to be a genocidal maniac and kill Native Americans and drug them all unmercifully in camps. You don't have to be an evil psychopath, a retarded piece of shit. You don't have to accuse innocent people who you beaten to death and drugged up. Almost to death. You don't have to accuse them of being the dumb, crazy ones. You could accept the fact that you got some problems too. And we could all learn to work together and live together. Coexist. And fix up our infrastructure so our cities can finally house the amount of people that they were supposed to since day one. Instead of having everything disproportionately arranged, where everybody's in one city and all the other cities are completely dead and filled with abandoned buildings and filled with abandoned lots and filled with abandoned everything. Do kids even go to school around here? I mean, it's that bad. You start questioning that shit. You're like, do kids even go to school anymore around here? I know when I was in school, I was going to school here. So unless they're trying to hide something from me and my people, it seems like there really is still kids going to school here. So I guess it's not that bad. But you look around, there really are that many fucking abandoned buildings. There really are that many drug addicts. There really are that many evil people killing people random left and right at the street corner. You can't even stay at the sidewalk. You can't even stay at the sidewalk without getting blasted. And I'm not defending these guys. They're easy targets. But I mean, who's doing it? And how organized is it? That's what you know what I'm saying. And when you look at the history, what did they do in the past? That's when you start really hating them and thinking these guys are bad. They're just killing innocent people. This guy standing at the sidewalk could have been there waiting to beat up the bad guys. Maybe he was there to help save a little German girl. But now you took his life because you think he's one of the gangsters. I mean, they're just extremist terrorists. They overreact. They jump to conclusions. And they'll say they have to because they say, well, if we don't, then we'll never do anything. That's not true, though, entirely. I get it, but that's not really true. Having a blue-eyed grandfather, I could see from both perspectives. I could see my hair is shiny under certain lights. I can see from both perspectives what's going on in America. I clearly see what's going on in America. Clearly. My grandfather witnessed hangings in Kentucky. That's how prevalent it was. This was less than 100 years ago. My grandfather's only, 79 years old? Imagine the things he might have told me in confidence that I'm not willing to even say because I'm so afraid. Maybe. Or maybe I just want you to go nuts and assume shit. and believe everything I'm saying and take my side of the narrative because I think I need more people on my side. At very least, I need a couple more crazy people to agree. Yeah, that sounds really believable. Yeah, that might be what happened here. Just look at it here. Just look at this place. It's destroyed. They sexually genocided our people. The Alarentshaws. One of the biggest offenders of it, I think. I got family, I think. I'm related to them guys. Some of them. I'm very closely related to these people. It's very sad to see what's going on around here. Some of these buildings just look like they were completely bombed. You look over at the pier in Utica. It's just nothing standing at all. Whatever gun factory was there protecting us, it's gone. We have no guns no more. It really makes you think, why would they target these buildings and not the other buildings when they come and genocide us all? What was here? What was standing here that was so special that they had to target it? Really makes you wonder. And how long ago was it? And are these photos actually accurately time-stamped? Because I saw a photo. It looked like there was all homes over here. There was some infrastructure. What could have that infrastructure been, I wonder? It really makes you think. Maybe they were building electric scooters. And these Nazis didn't want us to know about it. They didn't want us to know. Oh, yeah, batteries were invented in the 1400s. This is really old technology we have here. Really old. Because they don't want us to know because they're the ones who stole the inventions. Now they have the factories that they use themselves. They steal everything. They're the ones who want to sell it all at a high price. I'm not saying this building right here is selling anything. This is actually a pavilion right here. But it's nice for you to theorize about shit. I mean, it's something literally like that could be happening. Unless you know, you don't know. Like, let's say Harbor Point, for example. It's an international paper mill. Or international paper, whatever they call it. Factory. You don't know what they're actually producing there until you actually go work there or some shit, or you own it. For all you know, this building could be ancient, and they've been building the same shit there since day one, and it's not actually even a paper product place. It could be a robot facility. They're building robots or some shit. Who knows? I mean, I highly doubt that. I really highly, highly doubt that. But my luck is so bad whenever I highly doubt something, it seems to, sometimes it just goes, it ends up being true. Or if I highly believe in something, it doesn't go true. It seems like sometimes. Or let's say, for example, if I go on a dating app, it just doesn't even work at all. So my luck is so bad, like, I wouldn't doubt it, really. That just because I do doubt it, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, that sounds so confusing. That's like a tongue twister almost. Because I don't doubt it, I would doubt it. And because I would doubt it, I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. Anyways, they could be building fucking robots over here. And the technology could be thousands and thousands of years old. And we just got attacked by Hitler. And Hitler's over here living it up in the basements, for all we know, in some concentration camp where he gets to torture us at all times. And he's got girls who wanted to hook up with me. They might have walked by me at school or something. They saw me. They got to know my name somehow. They looked me up on Facebook. And next thing you know, they were kidnapped out of their homes and sent here. I mean, it almost seems very possible seeing how my dating app is still getting hacked. We live in 2024. Facebook just went down for like a day. The fact that that's even possible is like, wow. Wow. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I don't know what else to say, really. I think I described it all good enough. If you watch this now, and if you're like me, you might be theorizing about it now. You really might be questioning it. You might... if you're a hacker, this might inspire you to hack more people. I'm sorry if I made you a criminal. This is not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm not trying to get you to hack every blue eye to figure out what's going on in their families, hack their grandparents or anything like that. Not trying to do that. Anyways, I'm going to end it here.